voice of Neal Rhul. Sit back and relax. It's time for your daily dose of Big D energy.
Yo, what's going on, buddy? Welcome back to another episode of Big D Energy.
Big D!
Right here on the Woodward Sports Network. Neal Rhul, that loud guy over there, that's D-Mac, Darren McCarty. We have Big Mike Gentry. We have Parker, not Meadows here in the Fold Rapid Fire around the room. Good TV in right there, Parker, not Meadows.
Thank you.
Kept up with the pace. That's impressive.
It's the E&E.
Might be a future for you,
It's the E&E
kid.
pressure.
It's the E&E pressure. So we're ready to get into it today. No question about that. You'll notice there's a bunch of like random stuff I want to get to in the open. Number one, D-Mac's got a job interview after this, I believe. Get a picture of this, everybody. Get a load of this. Look at this. D-Mac, the overcoat, the sport coat, the glasses.
Mikey, what's the rule? What do we know? I'm not wearing a tie, so nobody died.
Yep.
Right? But I am dressed up like this, so there's only one thing. I must be going to talk cannabis, going to hang out with the GOAT himself. Calvin Johnson, big cannabis summit downtown at the Weston Cadillac. So straight from here down there. So, yeah, I decided to put on one of my favorite coats.
There you go. So just, as I said, like get a picture of it, everybody, because you don't see it that often.
And it won't happen again till the next cannabis convention.
There you go. No, but got a big time show lined up for you here today. Jump into that woodwardsports.com chat thread. Detroit Dabber 313 with the big what up, doe. What up? Happy to have you all with us. And Chuck Brewer, the pressure is getting to our man Jeff. He was breaking down like flannel today. Was epic watching. Really? Anybody got an update on that?
Breaking down like
him and
what?
Flannel
Like a
were going
smart
back and
beat?
forth.
About what?
It was like a top 10 QB list, and there was another
Were
thing.
they arguing over 10?
Yeah.
Of
They
course
were
they were.
arguing over a lot of things. They were just going a lot of back and forth today. It was good stuff, though. It was a great show.
Okay.
It was really good, though.
Ooh,
Absolutely.
Nobody said Jeff was bad.
We actually have Flannel coming on today, so we can ask him about it.
Little
We can
Wednesdays
ask him.
with Flannel. You guys chose this, by the way, so don't blame me. You chose it. We said you want Super Racide or Sam Flannel. And you said, all right, we'll take Sam Flannel. So 11:28 Sam Flannel will be popping on the show as well. Pete Smith. This is interesting. This just popped up here. And I'm curious to get D-Mac's take on this. Guys, I'm having an argument right now. Is mac and cheese a side or is it a main course? And I say that depends. If there's lobster in it, then it's a main course.
I said if there's meat in it, right? I said bacon, pork, or
What have
chicken. But yes, Mr. Florida, yes, Miami, lobster would make it that. But enjoy it any way you like. So either or, it's very multi-talented.
It's a side.
Just plain mac and cheese is a
Just
side.
plain mac and cheese is a side. And that's what Pete says.
Unless
straight
it's
mac
like
and cheese.
lobster mac and cheese, because that's a whole ass dish. But if it's just like some bacon on top, that's still a side.
It depends on the bacon. Are we talking bacon bits? We talking like
It's usually bacon bits.
No,
Then
if
yeah,
it
then
is,
it's
but
a side.
that's what we're talking
Like a
about.
salad.
If you got like some pork shavings or some
Just because you
brisket
add
or
bacon
something.
to mac and
If
cheese
that's
doesn't
a
make it a
meal.
fucking meal. There's no.
what if it's brisket?
Yeah.
Then it is.
Yeah,
And it is,
because
and that's part of
so
the pig,
check your-
Mike.
It's not like they
That's part
load
of
it,
the
like they
pig,
put like
Mike.
4 pieces of bacon on it, but when they put brisket, they're putting an ass ton on there, or they put lobster, they're putting a bunch on there.
I
so.
think that it can fill you up like a full meal.
Yeah.
And that's the purpose, but I think it can be side. It can be either or.
Well, Pete Smith's a teacher. He's a teacher in public school. He says that the kids say it's a full meal. Kids dining has changed.
Yeah, but we didn't we do that to them though? To the
Oh,
age
hell yeah, we
group?
did.
You know, with the mac and cheese served. Like,
Well,
here's
that's-
your dinner.
That's what I laugh about. Like everyone that complains about kids, well, we made them this way.
Yeah, that's true.
So who's the asshole? We are,
Yeah.
right? Am I right? Tell me
No,
where I'm wrong.
absolutely.
You are right.
Tell me where I'm wrong.
Absolutely.
You know. So yeah. So there's that
And
as
it makes
well.
sense. Now I know why they're both arguing, because it's just coming up and I can't ignore it anymore because it's blasphemy. Because they're arguing that Russell Wilson, they both said, is a top 10 quarterback. Yeah, that's what I'm
Well,
saying.
here's the you guys. All right.
See,
look,
like that's what, like, come on, man. Like,
This
you
wasn't even
can't-
gonna be part of
I
the
know
open,
it
but
wasn't,
here we are.
But I can't ignore it because some of our finest in here, we're bringing it up, and you know how much disdain I have for that guy.
Ryan's reaction's getting really granular about it. Mac and cheese is a starch, so it's a side. Calling mac and cheese an entree is like making mashed potatoes an entree. And
That's
I
fair.
can't. You know what?
That's a good ass point.
And look,
If you're
Ryan,
getting granular on it.
yeah, like real nuance.
But what if you throw a lobster in there? Like I'm
But
saying,
see,
like,
like
that,
for
that's,
me, it's the eyeball thing, right?
Abs-
It's like art.
you know what? It's the eyeball thing, or it's the how hungry am I? Right?
That's fair.
Because I know that mac and cheese is a staple, especially Canada. I don't know if in the States do do hot dogs with mac and cheese and stuff like this, but it's been a meal many times.
All right, Parker,
It's
let's do
filling
it.
enough to be a meal.
Oh, it can be, no doubt. There's enough sodium in it to make it a real meal, too. Let's take it to the streets, Parker. Let the people decide. WoodwardSports.com chat thread poll. Mac and cheese, main dish or a side?
I got you.
There's that. I was curious to see where the people are at. Mac and cheese, Caston Reed, mac and cheese on a burger, meal, side, and a topping. Wow, damn. That is pretty crazy. Machiavelli sucks to go. Seriously, which came first, the chicken or the egg? All right, we're not going that deep. All right, everybody, let's just get it back on the rails here for a minute, and get things back in operational. Ryan's reaction: do a whole 2-hour show without talking football. Savor this right now, Ryan, because this is as close as you're gonna get today.
I wish.
Yeah, you just savor it because again, this is as close as we're getting. Oh, by the way, 12:36. We'll be joined by Chad Brown, former NFL linebacker with the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Seattle Seahawks, does college football for Compass Media. He'll be doing the Texas A&M Alabama game. I want to go across the gamut around the world of football with Chad Brown, former All-Pro, multiple-time
former
Pro Bowler.
NFL to pick his brain with that, but also Colorado resident.
Colorado alum. We'll get his thoughts on Coach Prime.
So he's done some things. We were talking about Denver and Russell. I got questions.
I got
for
questions.
Culture out there.
Yeah.
So this will be an interesting talk. Chad Brown was definitely Blitzburg back in the day, part of Blitzburg, and great linebacker. So played the game the way I like. One of those guys that as a fellow athlete that you'd love to watch and respect.
He seems like he seems
like he's
like
a dude, man.
Yeah, he seems like he would be right up your alley.
Yeah, I
D-Mac.
think so. Yes.
And by the way, owns a snake business, like literal snakes.
I said to you before the show, I said from now on, there has to be something interesting.
In order to get on this show, you've got to have a backstory.
You have to have something. So definitely, I have a question for him on that.
Namahe says, Neal, have you heard the rumors about Urban Meyer and the Michigan State job? I have. We're going to get into that in the second hour as well. It's more philosophical, but we are going to get in. We are going to get into all that. Jay Singles, remember to turn your phone off about 2:15. Oh yeah, the federal government says they're launching a test of the emergency alert system on every single person's cell phone in the country at 2:20 today.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, which is I'm here for stuff
During
like that.
final word time.
Like I like that kind of
and I was
stuff.
listening this morning.
I do. I don't know why.
I was listening to Ryan Ermanni, the bottom line, 2 to 4 with Braylon Edwards and Mass on Fox 2 this morning, and saying that they have to do this test nationally every 3 years.
So here we are.
Every 3-year test. So, I mean, not like Haley's Comet, but sort of. Just in case an emergency comes.
It's like Haley Comet, but with cell phones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Tammy Chin, it depends. If it's a comfort food night, it's a main dish. Otherwise, it's a side dish. That's interesting.
Wait, do you have to declare comfort food night or something like that? Or
I think, again, it's one of those things you know it when you see it, or you know it when you feel it.
right. Or if you're not into doing anything and throwing mac and cheese either in the microwave or on the stove is a lot easier
Right.
process.
I agree. One other thing, too, today, and BMG is going to do this. Oh, real quick, let me wrap up that the Sam Flannel, Juicy J top 10 quarterback discussion. I never miss the Morning Woodward show. I never miss it. I never watch it, so I never miss it. So, like,
You had me there
I
for a
don't
second.
know.
You had me.
Hey!
Douche in the Dork. Douche in the Dork. If they change the name to Douche
in the Dork, yeah. I would give them a drop.
Tune it in. You would.
I would say, hey, everybody, Neal, Rhul, Woodward Sports. Tune in to Douche in the Dork in the morning.
8 to 10.
8 to 10,
Here,
Woodward Sports. I just wanted to throw that one in there because I thought that it was funny. But BMG is living this up to the fullest. And I'm telling you guys this. I have come to have an appreciation for a day like today, weather-wise, because it's over tomorrow. This is it, everybody. This is the last day.
It's not over. It's just the summer in September and October is over.
This is it.
It's turning into fall.
Yeah, it's going to be like in the low 50s on Saturday. Like, it's over. This is it. So everybody, get it in today.
So it's not, but it's, and Mikey's excited. He's on one today because he's headed out to the golf course, which would be nice. But as a golfer or a diehard, it's not under 50 yet. So we're still okay. We're still all right. We can still.
It's gonna be 50s all.
Okay, good, man. Put a friggin' sweater and a turtleneck on. Let's go. As long as it's not windy, you're fine.
Yeah. Ryan's reaction. Neal's too busy on the treadmill to watch the morning show.
That's right. Getting ready for that marathon, half marathon.
Yes. That's right.
I'm glad everybody pays attention to this show.
Yep. Sound Kayak. The morning show did have about 3 times as many viewers as your show does right now.
Well, that's because everybody gets up at that time. So.
Right. Well, that just goes to show you, too, like, intelligent people come here to watch this show. People that are just up in the morning and say, hey, I'm going to watch the morning show. Hey, they go to that show.
Real quick, because we probably won't get to talk about it. Did you catch any of the, did you know the baseball playoffs started? And did you catch any of it?
Mm-hmm. You know what's funny, D-Mac? I did want to bring this up, too. I turned on the Wings game last night. Just flipped it on.
They played?
Yeah. They play. And D-Mac, I'm going to tell you this. This happens maybe once or twice a year. I just flipped it on. And I was doing like some other kind of work on the laptop or whatever, and I flipped it on, and I just found myself getting into it for no reason whatsoever. For no reason whatsoever. And just like the game was close, and I know it's a preseason game, and I know it doesn't mean anything.
But you forgot about that.
I forgot about that. I just watched a game.
That's a sign, again, that you're ready and you're giving them that they deserve. You wouldn't give them that opportunity if they didn't deserve it.
Right.
Right. Especially right now. So did you see things you liked? Real quick on that.
No, not real. I mean,
well, Veleno got 2.
Yeah,
yesterday.
I did like that.
You did, because why? Because what did Steve Eisman preach? I'd like to see more offense out of Joe Veleno this year to be able to step it up. So. Boom, a little bit there.
To me, too, like the Wings had the less than lineup out there, and the Blackhawks had, and the Blackhawks had like that was going to be their opening night lineup.
Absolutely.
So I didn't really.
Which is part of it.
It was just a game. It was just a game.
Watching players, that's what I noticed. Joe Veleno, and obviously putting 2 on the board yesterday, but doing what his general manager has probably asked from him.
Absolutely. So it was that. By the way, Sound Kayak, too, you talk about the viewers. It's funny, when you flip through the clips, those numbers are inverted. When we put my clips out there, they seem to do a few more numbers.
We're just a niche market. We're for intelligent people.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And like if you had like a fan loyalty, barometer or index,
BDE
at the top of this whole network, man. At the top of the whole network, a lot like the clips we put out are. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So there's that as well. But D-Mac, you had to get right. You had to get the hair right. You got a big conference to go to.
Absolutely. As you can see, thank you, Beth. Pulled her back because also, too, at the top of the game, Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, an award-winning haircut experience, but you can also walk in and register to win a trip of your dreams and all expenses paid. Sweet to the 2024 NCAA basketball tournament. That's right, no expense spared for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Absolutely. And let me tell you about Feldman Chevrolet. You guys already know what it is. We're broadcasting there live throughout the football season. 18 locations. There's a Feldman dealership in your backyard. Visit feldmanauto.com to find the location nearest you. Since 1996, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, first-class car buying experience called the Feldman Advantage. Catch Woodward Sports Network live from Feldman Chevrolet of Novi every other Monday. We'll be rolling out next Monday, as a matter of fact. Feldman Automotive Group.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
When buying or selling real estate, flexibility and control over the sales process is key. Sellers, how would you like the freedom of canceling your listing agreement at any time for any reason with no penalty at all? That is exactly what Mark White and Associates is offering. It's called their minute-by-minute listing agreement by Mark White and Associates. Try Mark White's risk-free minute-to-minute listing agreement today. Looking to buy or sell real estate? Visit markwhitesells.com or call 248-290-8242. That number again, 248-290-8242, markwhitesells.com, where flexibility meets success.
We are off and running here on a Wednesday. Gonna get over that hump, everybody. Don't forget, tomorrow we'll have the Feldman, speaking of Feldman Chevrolet, we'll have the Feldman Chevrolet Pigskin Pick'em going on. So we'll have that, myself and D-Mac and our guy, Ryan Palter. He didn't have a losing record this week, so that's impressive. He's making strides.
1-1-1.
1-1-1. Absolutely. Real quick, too, because people brought it up. Connor Bedard got his first goal as a professional yesterday. It was an empty netter against the Red Wings. He can play, everybody. Absolutely. He can play. You can tell he can play, and
he's electric. He gets a puck on his sticker. He's out there, you know.
Plays happen when he's out there. That's all I know. The biggest compliment I can give, the whole tempo of the game changes when he's out there. Absolutely. And if you know, you know.
Absolutely.
If you know, you know. Wrapping up the poll, what is mac and cheese, a main dish or a side piece? 66% of you said it's a side piece. I had a qualifier. If you throw lobster in there, it's a main dish. Or brisket.
Any type of meat.
Or steak, chicken. Yeah,
Just
any
not
type
bacon.
of meat. Just not bacon, unless it's like, whatever. I'm not. We're done.
We're done.
Okay.
I get it.
We're absolutely done with it.
Get it.
Scott says, Neal, it's the main side dish. All right, that's a good way to go. Danny G, we love Big D. Big D loves you too, Danny G. So, look, you guys know this. I'll do this from time to time. And we were kind of texting around, like, show topics and thoughts and everything like that. And I was texting with another group of friends, and they were talking about Jahmyr Gibbs. And one of my friends said, you know, I'd like to see him get outside more, maybe be a little more dynamic. And I had an epiphany once again. It didn't cost me 50 at Tiffany's. That's the tagline. That's bars for you, BMG. That's bars.
It's bars.
That's bars. You know what, D-Mac? For that crowd, for that whole I want to see more dynamic, it just hit me like, D-Mac, what if, and I know what your response is going to be to this. I got my eye on a couple of you in the chat. I know which way you're going to go with this, but I don't have a problem with it, so I'll just get it out there. What if, D-Mac, this is the way it's supposed to be?
As far as?
Like, the Lions are happy with the setup right now.
Well, I think that they're happy, and what I've seen or whatever is they're not trying to get, like we're talking about mac and cheese being a side or a meal. They're more using them as a side than a main course right now. I think they're letting him find his way in. I think the big thing is you look at what they did and what he did specifically when David Montgomery was out against Atlanta and how they used him differently. It's going to be thunder and lightning. So I think that what we're all waiting for is just that scheme where he gets it with some open space and then he makes guys miss, right? That's what we haven't seen. We've seen the fact, and we all talk that, wow, when he gets in between the tackles or whatever, he's not scared. He puts his shoulder down. You know, he engages hits and stuff like this. We're just waiting for that thing, Neal, that we've been told that we haven't seen yet. So, but I think that as far as if you ask Dan Campbell and the coaching staff, he's coming along progressing how they want, and they're not trying to give him too much too early and let him get into it. I think that these next few games, this one against Carolina, even against Tampa, who's got a great run defense and a great defense to begin with. But I think it's more of the thunder and lightning. And to your point, this is the way it's supposed to be. Doesn't mean that they're not going to scheme to him like they've talked about. And Ben Johnson, we're going to use him in ways that you've never seen. Well, we're still waiting to see. But I think that once we see him do something dynamic that we were told, then people will be more at ease.
Because I think people forgot, they went out and got David Montgomery. You know what I'm saying? This was never going to be a situation.
How can Cats say that Gibbs isn't having an impact? That is absolutely ridiculous. To the fact of maybe not as big of an impact as you expected him to have this early, like Sam Laporte is.
My question,
but you can't say he's not having an impact.
What did you expect?
Right, exactly.
Because I know, and guys,
everybody wants your first round pick to be the gold Hall of Famer right out of the bat. You know who's not getting the juice? Why aren't we talking about Laporte and his Hall of Fame numbers at the beginning of his career at the tight end position? So whatever you thought you were supposed to get from Gibbs, you're getting it in Laporte, and it's all evening out in the wash. I mean, I don't get it. How can you have not the impact? Everybody is making an impact. That's why they're 3-1. That's why they've won games and stuff like that. So I just think that it'll expand, Neal, as the season gets on, as he remains healthy. And the durability also, because he's not the biggest guy. They don't want to lose him like they had DeAndre Swift. So I think that early on they put him in situations. He dropped the ball. They don't go back to him. You're a rookie. You drop a ball, you get an opportunity. No. You got to earn your stuff. He earned it when he had to step up in the Atlanta game. Now figuring out how to use them. But we're still waiting. Whether it's this week or next week, he's going to get into the end zone, right? And he's going to make a flash play. So it's just a matter of time. But as far as when you're looking at your team, yes, he's maybe not as impactful as other guys, but you can't say he's not having an impact.
Yeah, and Tricia Miller says they oversold Gibbs as a weapon. Now people's expectations are not being met. This is Brad and Dan's fault, not Jahmyr Gibbs. And I wouldn't even call it their fault. Again, just put this together. And I know when we do the preseason shows and stuff like that, and D-Mac, we've done a couple of these. You start adding up all the numbers people expect from everybody. Next thing you know, you're penciling Goff for 6,500 yards passing and 58 touchdowns. It doesn't add up. I just don't know what people expected. For real, what did you guys expect? Because I will say this. When David Montgomery was not available, he got you almost 5 yards per carry. What are you asking for? What do you want for real? And I would say it's more valuable than that because he stepped up when Montgomery was out and the Lions didn't have a choice.
And he ran the hard yards. And he ran the durability. And he did what you're supposed to do with the top 5 offensive line is get deeper into the game and tired. I see people say, oh, the other team was tired. Yes, that's part of it. Wearing them down and getting stronger. So I think he's right on pace for where they want him to be.
And ask and sometimes you shall receive. And Chuck Brewer gave it to me here. 179 yards on the season as the team's second back. He's got more than a lot of teams' leading rushers. Exactly, Chuck. What did people want? What do they want for real?
They thought they got Barry Sanders.
No, I mean,
no, honestly, and to the point, whoever said that because that was a great comment that you read, as far as Brad and Dan and Ben told us, right? If it's not like they came out of the one guy and said, this guy, we're going to use him in this, so we're all waiting as fans, right? We're all waiting to see it. So far early in the season, more of false advertising and not being given what they can.
It's also year one. I mean, this kid's a rookie.
It's game 5 coming up.
Exactly. It's very early in this kid's career, and everybody's I mean, people are getting to a point where they're about to start calling him a bust.
Yeah, and Parker, that's why I wanted to bring it up, is because the problem isn't with Gibbs. The problem's with you and your expectations. You know what? Not you, Parker, but you, the people out there. Did you honestly think that Montgomery's going to be a 1,500-yard back and Gibbs is going to be a 1,500-yard? Start working through it, everybody. Get real. I'm happy. I'm happy with where he is right now. I have no complaints whatsoever because they were in the pressure cooker when Montgomery was out, and he delivered. Period. End of story.
Jeff Berg brings up a great point. Is most of the noise about not being satisfied fantasy owners?
Yes.
That's exactly where it is. Jeff Berg, give yourself DMAC for the day, baby. You hit that one on the head.
I mean,
the frustration, and it's also, we were told, right? But also maybe, too, that's part of the plan, going a little cryptic. Maybe that they wanted the rest of the NFL to be told that, too. So maybe they spend more time game planning for them and that's where you've been able to help use Laporta,
Yeah, and again, just the problem is with you if you have a problem with Gibbs. Because I bet you if you go across that locker room, nobody else has a problem with them.
Or how about ask around the league, right? Your rookie guy 5 games in as your second back has 179 yards or whatever, more important than some teams with leading rushers.
I don't have a problem with Gibbs, but I have a problem with some of the pass plays they are running for him. And as far as hitting holes go, you've seen him improve vastly game by game. So, and the Lions are 3-1, and Monty's doing really well. So you can't really complain. I just would like to see something different as far as like the routes he's running in the pass game. But I'm not disappointed by any means. I think he's gotten better and better every game so far.
I have the stats right in front of me. So Gibbs' worst game was against Seattle. He had 7 carries for 17 yards, 2.4 yards per carry on average. His best game was against Atlanta, 17 carries, 80 yards, 4.7 yards per carry.
Had a 21-yard bust play.
Yeah, I mean,
late in the game when everybody knows you're running the ball.
Exactly, and against Green Bay, 8 carries, 40 yards, 5 yards average. I mean, essentially a RB2, that's not awful numbers. That's honestly not. For a rookie RB2.
Neal, real quick, can we look at it from the other side too, that Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell and the coaching staff have something that maybe they don't know exactly what they're dealing with, so they haven't used it to the full expansion yet? And I think it's a responsibility a lot of times too, right? They're trying to get him the ball, and I go back to the one that he dropped end of the first half in the Seattle game that would have broke it out. Like, it's responsibility.
Laporta
right?
dropped one that hit him right in the chest too. Are we right now? Do we want to cut him? Like, is he a bust?
And rookies are going to drop him. I mean, JMO's going to come back. We saw it last year, and hopefully he gets an opportunity. But, we've seen him drop him in the past.
And again, guys, like, I'm content. That was my epiphany. And I'm a Gibbs fantasy owner. I'm content with where he is right now. For real. Like, I'm content with what he's done. I don't have a problem with it at all.
Guys like Gibbs are going to have that breakout game, too, where he's got 3 touchdowns, 2 on the ground, 1 in the air, something like that. That game's coming, whether it's this week or, in a few weeks.
Yeah, so, again, I know that it's where he got drafted. I understand that. But I think, too, this is part of their draft. This may be part of their draft strategy, right? They feel they have a talented running back under cost control.
You know what? I sort of, this is, somebody brought up this comment. I apologize. But they said, well, you don't draft a running back at 12 to be your backup. But doesn't that tell you how strong your team is, that if your draft pick at 12 is your backup running back? That, to me, tells me that it's team. Because most times you got to throw them right in the fire, just like Atlanta does to Bijan. You have a luxury here.
Get your NFL Lions Sundays right out there in the fire as well with the Woodward Sports Lions Insider Show. Woodward and Maine. Sundays 8 to 9 a.m. Tuesdays at 7 to 8 a.m. as well. Hosted by Gabby D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster as well. So get your NFL Sundays kicked off the right way. Woodward and Maine, our Detroit Lions Insider Show with all of our Lions reporters that are out there. So, again, for me, I'm cool with it. I'm fine with what he's done so far. I don't know what everybody expected. What do you got, BMG?
Mark Royal says, Neal, you are okay with a backup running back at 12 overall? Clown. With the clown emoji.
Why?
Dude, do you not understand that tells you that your team, how good your team is? If he's got to fight for that playing,
Bum take.
Dude, I mean, like...
Clown.
Bozo.
Okay, clown. Absolutely. Clown. Sure, whatever. All I know is when Montgomery was out, he was almost 5 yards per carry in a game they dominated that they were never in danger of losing.
Mike G nailed it too. Clowns are scary though too, Neal. So
yeah, I guess they are. I guess they are. Hey, let me tell you about the Hamlin Pub, everybody. Wanted to be. Have you ever wanted a bar where you're like a regular? That is Hamlin Pub, just the place for you. Head to any one of Hamlin Pub's 7 locations and experience Hamlin Pub, where everyone is a regular. Whether you're enjoying half-off pizza on a Thursday or game day specials available during all Michigan sports and all NFL games, they're your headquarters for Sundays, everybody. Let's keep it real. Hamlin Pub is the place. Visit a location today and experience your new favorite pub for all things sports. It's Hamlin Pub.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Looking for a convenient place to get that big fitness energy? It's Planet Fitness.
You know it.
Now through October 13th, join for just $1 down, $10 a month. We've got over 2,400 locations with most open 24 hours. Join now to enjoy free fitness training and equipment for every workout. You belong in the judgment-free zone. Join Planet Fitness today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment. Cancel anytime. Deal ends Friday, October 13th.
Over 50 Metro Detroit locations.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
Neal Rhul here for the Academy of Warren with kindergarten through 8th grade that features AM/PM latchkey, small classroom sizes, a learning street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Hope Mifflin curriculum, academic games, and kindergarten through 8th grade athletics, and a brand new state-of-the-art sports dome with a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, and soccer field that can be used for 7-on-7 football as well. Still time to enroll. Go to academyofwarren.net. Keeping it pushing, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal Rhul, Darren McCarty, Big Mike Gentry, Parker, Not Meadows here as well. Real quick, just wrapping up the Gibbs discussion. Ryan's reaction nailed it right here. This was my overriding point. Gibbs is a starter. He's not a backup. Again, we need to educate the chat on different types of running backs. There it is.
Damn right.
Thank you. That's a good walk-off right there, Ryan. I'm cool with it. Somebody who I'm not cool with sometimes joins us now here. It is Wednesday. It's Wednesdays with Flannel, Sam Flannel from the Woodward Morning Show. And as always, we appreciate your time, Sam Flannel, number one.
Thank you.
Number two. There's a couple of different directions I want to go.
Yeah.
This is going to be your time to shine. This weekend, only going to be in the 50s. It's flannel season, baby.
That's right, yeah. No, these last couple of days it's been tough because I've kind of put away the summer flannels and now got the winter ones and the fall ones out, and I'm not going back. Even though it's been 80 the last couple of days, I've just been sticking through, but it hasn't been very comfortable.
All right, no one gives a shit. All right, moving on. The Morning Woodward Show.
Yes.
Big Mike Gentry told me. This is the gossipy TMZ portion of the Big D Energy.
It really wasn't me. It was more of the chat. But
First
they were
time
arguing on a few
Flannel
things.
that you never miss a show because you never watch a show. So you
Yeah,
never miss.
I did want you to know that I never miss. I truly never miss Morning Woodward.
I heard you. I was in the
Okay.
back watching.
All right, absolutely. I never miss it. Sam Flannel, not once have I missed it. But anyway, this little tiff with you and Juicy J, was this like your guys' first knockdown drag out affair?
No, and I wouldn't say it was knockdown drag out. I think it was misrepresented a little bit because the true fireworks of the show were between Jeff and Lucas when they were talking about their top 10 quarterback rankings. Me and Jeff, we got into it a little bit. It was a theoretical Max Crosby to the Lions topic, and we were talking about Aiden Hutchinson. We had a difference of opinion. I thought I thought he was being a little bit hypocritical at times, but it's just in show beef. We all have it. Like, shows a lot of times are more fun when there's conflict, especially when it's genuine. Because a lot of times me and Jeff, we agree, but today we just didn't very much. And Jeff and Lucas certainly went at it hard today.
Okay. But yeah, so Flannel, what about this? Real quick, I want you to weigh in on this whole Jahmyr Gibbs thing.
Okay.
Like, I had an epiphany last
All
night
right.
where I was like, you know what? It's fine. Everything's cool. Montgomery was out. He shouldered the load, had almost 5 yards per carry, did exactly what was asked. I'm very, very cool with where he is right now. Your thoughts?
I can see it from both sides because I think the greatest evidence to that he's fine is when David Montgomery was out, Jahmyr Gibbs gave you 17 carries for 80 yards. He was exactly what he needed to be for that day. I think it's more about drafting a running back at number 12 overall. And I feel like a lot of people's expectations are just like, he's fine. He's not an every down running back. And then and also we haven't really seen anything out of the passing game. We were kind of sold that he was the number 1 receiving back coming out, and he's given you 14 catches for 70 yards, nothing really explosive. So I can kind of see both sides. It hasn't been perfect, but when they needed him most, he did step up.
And that's where it boils down
What
to.
about
D-Man.
eyeball test, Sam, for you? Do you like eyeball test, because this is what we got, and everybody's arguing over schematics, but you are a 3-1 team. You've seen that as effectiveness. Do you think that it will improve, or the game plan will open up to him more? Do you have confidence in Jahmyr Gibbs to be a number 12 overall, or no?
I'm not sure, but here's the bottom line, and this is where I feel like we're kind of being a little bit greedy. The Lions are 3-1. We probably shouldn't be complaining about draft picks no matter what. It's just that there's always going to be a little bit, and I know people are tired of hearing this, a little bit of Jalen Carter envy because he's been so great. And Jahmyr Gibbs, I've seen spurts where he's been fine, but I haven't really seen special yet. But what I have seen is he does have the ability to run between the tackles, which was something that some people thought.
You questioned.
I mean, I did.
Yes.
At times, his ability
just
to
say you, Flannel.
No, I mean,
don't blame it on other people. Just say you.
You know what? And that is all well and good. But he did step up when he was needed the most. It's just that there is a small part of me that had a little bit of cause for pause when I saw that David Montgomery had 32 carries. I understand. I was watching the game here, and he had the hot hand, and he was wearing down the defense. But I still have some questions about whether or not Jahmyr Gibbs. I think both things can be true. I think Jahmyr Gibbs will be an effective part of this offense moving forward, but I also don't know if he's ever going to be a star, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
But can we agree that the quote-unquote star running back has kind of been put out to pasture in the NFL with the of course unicorn exceptions to that?
Sure, but like the running back who was drafted before him, I think he is going to be a star running back. And I also look to that 5th-round running backs like Tyler Algier come into the NFL right away, get 1,000 yards. Undrafted running backs like James Robinson come into the NFL right away and get 1,000 yards.
But that unicorn running back that you're talking about had 33 yards against the Lions.
Oh, I mean, the credit to the Lions rush defense. That might be the worst game he has all season. Like
you see what I'm saying, though?
Yeah, no, I do.
Are the Falcons fans going, man, I wish, did we keep the receipt on this pick? Can we take it back?
Okay, but he also gave you 100 against the Packers and 100 against the Jaguars. And Jahmyr Gibbs hasn't done that yet. He gave you 80. He gave you 80.
Yeah, but you're 3-1.
Right. And that's where we probably should just like let it all play out.
Let it breathe. Okay, let it breathe. That's fine. Flannel, I was told Michigan's back now because they finally covered a spread.
They were never away. That's the thing that always drives me a little bit crazy. There's no reason at this point in the season. There's never been a reason at this point in the season to take shots at Michigan as a whole. I get it, their schedule is weak, but they have won in dominating fashion every single time. They have yet to give up more than 7 points in a game. I get it against bad competition, but still, it's not like they're struggling or anything. But yeah, the Nebraska win, that was definitely the start to finish body bagging of a team that we all wanted to see, and they did it. So they never went anywhere. They're fine.
Can you body bag a dead body?
No. I mean,
well, that's where
that's a great point.
You're only supposed to body bag a dead body.
Okay.
No living bodies in a body bag, because then, right? But so what do you have to see from your Michigan team? Is there more that you need to see, or are you pretty dang sure you like your spot where you're at right now? the way that we can all agree, and we've talked about this, that college football is as wide open for national champion this year. So what do you still need to see from your team?
Well, this is going to sound generic, but we all know up until the 10th game of the season, Michigan should pretty much have no trouble going 9-0. I just want to see how they react to going into Penn State, a team that might also be undefeated at the time. It might be one of the biggest matchups of the week. Can they go in and win and dominate?
Oh, yeah,
But that's James Franklin, bro.
Okay, that's James Franklin, but they're going to be probably a top 5 team in the country when it's at least in the
Michigan's
rankings.
a favorite in the game already. You can pre-bet it. They're over a 3-point favorite. It is no challenge. It is of no consequence.
It's no challenge at Penn State. They've got a lot of talent.
Who have they beat? Who have they ever beat since he's been there?
Not a lot of teams. I mean, I know they beat Ohio State in 2016 and Michigan in 2019, but
pushing a decade ago.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying that to me, this is the best Penn State team that they've had at least since the Saquon Barkley days. I think that that's fair, and they're going on the road to a hostile environment. I mean, Penn State is a hostile environment. But then I don't know if I'll be able to see anything that either makes me feel happy or doubt them until that game. It's pretty light work.
Do you miss it? Like you look around the college football landscape. I may have asked you this question before. I can't remember. But you look around the college football landscape and you see USC's going to play Oregon, and Washington's playing Oregon next week, and Florida State LSU, and Ohio State Notre Dame, and stuff like that. Is it lonely? Do you miss it? Do you wish that maybe you could partake in that, or is it good enough to be guaranteed into the playoff?
That's tough. I do kind of miss the Michigan-Notre Dame every year rivalry. I thought that was kind of fun, but there's also something to be said about not having to worry until later on in the season.
Right.
No worrisome
that's
moments.
the camp I'm in, because that would be my pre-programmed response. Like, hey, wake me up when the playoff starts.
Right, and then in the last 3 weeks, you've got at Penn State, and then you got home versus Ohio State. Those are going to be big-time games, at least in terms of viewership and at least in terms of, like, top 10 matchups. So I'll get my fix then. For now, I'm pretty much cool just watching them steamroll.
No, absolutely. So there it is. Well, Flannel, we appreciate you. We appreciate you sliding through, by the way.
Flannel, for the record, I saw in the chat that your chat this morning said that you won whatever debate over those guys. They agreed with you. So congratulations.
What was it again?
That.
I'll be the judge on this. What was the debate again? I wasn't listening when you talked earlier.
It was.
You don't listen ever.
I'm not going to go into too much detail because, I got to have my guy Jeff's back when it comes to, like, just overall, like, show loyalty. But we just had a discussion about
accountability on that show, eh?
Correct.
Okay.
We just kind of had a discussion about whether or not Max Crosby was feasible to the Detroit Lions and just kind of how well Aiden Hutchinson has played already without Max Crosby, more or less. That was kind of the discussion. And the chat, they'll fill you in. I just don't want to throw
Sam Flannel was talking about how Jeff always clamors that Hutch needs help, and then when the Max Crosby thing got brought up, Jeff kind of dismissed it and said it's impossible, and then Flannel kind of got on his ass about that.
Gotcha.
Thank you, BMG.
Yeah.
That was I could have said it better myself.
I don't know that I'm interested in him at $26 million
automatically
cap
the
hits.
money doesn't work, right? Like the first thing I think.
Well, the Lions got the juice. They got the flexibility. They could do it.
But you want to put that with no.
Yeah,
I don't think.
I can explain that later what they're going to be doing.
Right.
But Flannel, appreciate you, man.
You guys.
Absolutely. Sam Flannel from the Morning Woodward
Nice work,
show.
Flannel.
Catch him 8 to 10. I never miss it, so you should tap in as well. And you should also tap into the Lions post-game show. As soon as the Lions game is over, Maz will pop the collar, Stick will make fun of Maz, and everybody will be happy because they'll be chugging the Kool-Aid after the Lions victory over Carolina on Sunday. Go to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel, the Woodward Sports Lions post-game show. Two of the GOATs in the business hosting it with weekly special guests as well. We're doing NFL Sunday better than anybody, folks. Tap in to Woodward Sports Network. And oh, by the way, Premier Pet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yep.
Okay.
When it comes to your pet, don't settle. Give your pet the best. Premier Pet Supply is hands down Michigan's best pet store. Family owned and operated for over 30 years. 13 Metro Detroit locations. Over 60 brands of food. Lowest prices and curbside home delivery. Pet Supply. Premier Pet Supply. Give your pet the best. www.premierpetsupply.com. You always want to keep your pet nice and healthy, so why not go to Premier Pet Supply.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Time for football. Glorious Cannabis is dropping a new ice water bubble hash infused pre-roll called Honolulu Blue. It smells so good, it's like the whiff of the first playoff win in 31 years. It's a gassy, aggressive strain named in honor of Detroit football. If you haven't had one of these ice water pre-rolls, you're missing out. They are so smooth. Trust me, I know. Find them at Distro Dispensary, 25% off. Code Woodward Glorious. www.gloriouscanna.com.
Keeping it pushing here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal, Rhul, and Darren McCarty, and Mike Gentry, and Parker Meadows, and all of you in the woodwardsports.com chat thread. Just some breaking news. They just announced the 2030 World Cup will be played on 3 different continents, hosted by 6 different countries. So there's that going on. Remember, the 2026 World Cup coming up. Part of it will be here in the USA, so it'll be popping off. No doubt about that. Canada, Mexico co-hosting as well. So just a bit of, the world's game breaking news. As we said, make sure you subscribe to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel. Jump into that chat and subscribe to the Big D Energy podcast page as well. Leave a review. Make fun of Sam Flannel if you want. Whatever you want to do. And get up in there. All right. We touched on it, but we kind of danced around it. And I think now is the time. And I'm curious to see where people's expectations are, because I think that there are some elements of Jahmyr Gibbs to Jameson Williams out there. And I want to know. It's a simple question, man. And I'll go around the room and get the answers. And I'll go to the woodwardsports.com chat thread. If you had to put him on the depth chart right now, which they will, because he's eligible to come back after the NFL said, yeah, you know what, that was kind of a clown policy that we had. They didn't say it that way, but that's what they said without saying it.
Yes, agreed. For sure.
Yes. If you had to peg him on the depth chart, where are you putting him?
Easy. Bye, Marvin. Marvin Jones, take that 0. You gone. Haven't done it. I think that's easy. Marvin Jones hasn't done anything. You look at everybody else. You look at, Josh Reynolds. You look at Amon-Ra. St. Brown's the way it is. So I think you slide him in 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
3.
Put him right behind Josh Reynolds.
Yeah.
At least
I think and
right
push Marvin to 4 or Antoine Green or whoever it is. I think, the big thing is I love what's being preached by Dan Campbell about that, is that he's got to be responsible like everybody else in that room. So it's not about, being the long, deep speed threat and stuff like that. It's being, that responsible, durable guy. So let's just see him. I think they're going to the similarities, Neal, I think they're going to ease him into this, but he will get the targets. We saw what they did with him last year. I expect the first, few games, what is he going to get? 2-3 targets, maybe a deep shot, but that's okay.
I do like this one here. Sue Yu says, Marvin Jones has been a bust. That's a Brad Holmes miss. You know what? I don't expect $2 million receivers to be hits, Sue Yu. Do you?
No, it's a depth. It's a depth.
Yeah, for real.
It's a
That
depth
was
guy.
some rhymes right there.
I mean, for real.
So
you expect
do you?
a $2 million receiver. What? So like, what's the expectation? You pay a guy $2 million, you expect him to catch 120 balls? Like, no, that's not the way that works. A washed wide receiver with his resume costs you about $2 million in today's NFL. And by the way, no, people can't start with that. Because we did the show, man. People thought 2019 Marvin Jones was coming in. You remember that, Big Mike Gentry?
Yeah.
Like, people were losing their minds about it. So you don't get that. You don't get that luxury. Zach Spring, J-Mo is our best X-wide receiver. And see, that's why I want to have this discussion right now. Because again, don't be like all these other people that let emotion in the moment cloud the common sense gene, that they have, that most people have, not everybody. That is a factual statement by Zach Spring. Jameson Williams is the best X-wide receiver on this roster, period, end of story.
He always was. So no.
Yes.
Who's arguing that?
So, for me, the people that want to say, oh, well, I don't know. I don't know what you can do, what can happen, where Jameson Williams fits in. That's a factual statement. That's where he fits in. He becomes your best X-wide receiver on an NFL roster. Hard stop.
And it's how is he how ready is he to make an impact, and how confident is Ben Johnson and Jared Goff, right, in making that connection? So you got to still think it's going to take a little bit of time, but this is where the things that we don't see, the work being put in by them, in practice and stuff like this is where it comes down to it. So, I don't you expect that at least one or two deep balls thrown his way at some point in the game?
You would hope.
With him out there, being that guy, yeah.
I mean, you can expect Jameson Williams maybe when he starts to get the production he needs and starting to get his snaps and getting out there more. You can see, he can be the second best receiver on this team. He can very well be the first. There's a lot of talent. He's very fast. He can make plays that Amon-Ra St. Brown can't, and Amon-Ra St. Brown can make plays that he can't. So those two complement each other very well.
And that's a good call, Parker, because let's be real about this. That whole argument is going to be depending on where you shop. Like, what store do you go to? Do you go to the store of this is a league of big plays and 6 plays swing a game? Then you're going to be pro Jameson Williams.
100%.
And if you're going to be 120 catches, 150 targets, never drops a ball, isn't necessarily as much as a deep threat, but helps you move chains and control a game, then you're going to shop at the Amon-Ra St. Brown store. Like, that's up to the consumer.
Isn't it also, too, when you have, and what'd you say, the speed guy, you look at what he creates for everybody else. He's only going to get Laporta more space. He's only going to take that safety coverage to the strong side, where who you going to double even more. I think it makes Amon-Ra St. Brown and Josh Reynolds more available. So even if he is a decoy for the first bunch of times till he gets into it, he's going to benefit. And you nailed it, Neal. Moving the sticks. It's not about just touchdowns and long passes and stuff like this. It's being effective and throwing a wrench into the other team's game plan. Look at how we have to game plan for teams that have speed receivers, right? It's just something to have. It's more or less like, hopefully he turns in the production and shows that, because then teams have to prepare for you, not only for all the other weapons, but now an extra one in him, which is a one play can break you type of guy.
Yeah, and with Jameson Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown, let's say the deep ball is not going to be a big factor in this game. You can rely on a guy like Amon-Ra St. Brown. Then Ben Johnson has this opportunity with guys like Jameson Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown, where he can go game to game and see where the defense is going and what they're better at. Are they better in the deep game, or are they better in the short game? So then if they're better in the short, they're going to rely on Amon-Ra St. Brown. Yeah,
and plus, too, like, this is a saying I always use. Like, every professional sporting event happens in a vacuum. The plays that lead up to it, the plays that create the flow of the game, the pace of the game, all that stuff. Everything is situationally dependent. Everybody always just wants everything to be linear all the time. And it's the opposite of that. None of it is linear. So, again...
You know what I love? Right? It's amazing that guys step out on the field with their draft pick on their jersey, because you know what? You have to go to that guy 80% of the time. You can't use them to benefit your team.
D-Mac, you're here.
Once these guys are drafted, it's about, do they move the chains? Are they part of the offense? And who gives a shit whether your first rounder's a decoy if you're scoring touchdowns and winning games? Right? At the end of the day, who scored the 97 Cup clinching goal? Yzerman? Fedorov? Right? Shanahan? No. Some scrub on the third
well,
line.
D-Mac, that's perfect, because I was gonna go to you on that.
Fucking, you guys are so stupid. It's about winning games.
Are you more valuable in a 2-1 game against the Coyotes, or are you more valuable in a 9-7 game against Edmonton back in the day? Which one are you more valuable in?
And can we please change the Coyotes to Colorado or Dallas or something? Somebody that actually wins to that game when it matters, or a Philly or a Finals or Washington and stuff like that, right? No, the 9-7 game, you're hoping you get your cookies, but you know what? Sergey better have 4.
Right. You see what I'm saying?
No, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter because
games happen in a vacuum.
Have you just added something? And how you're talking Gibbs, and you brought it up at the beginning, Gibbs and Williams. They haven't played anything. Do you expect the 4 games for one of them, and Williams hasn't even? I mean, gosh, guys. I mean, like, seriously.
I mean,
and a bust. People are throwing out busts.
It's ridiculous.
You need years. Like, you know who we could say is a bust is Philip Zadina. After how many years? 5 years, right, in the hockey circle. So you got to give these guys a couple years. They haven't even hardly played.
Yeah, and I mean, right away, I think with Lions fans, we're having a great season, but they always find something to complain about. They're expecting Jahmyr Gibbs and Jamison Williams to be Tyreek Hill and Christian McCaffrey
1,000 yards
right
each.
out of the gate.
Yeah.
Right out of the gate.
How many years are those guys in the league?
It's in 4 weeks.
How many years have Tyreek Hill and Christian McCaffrey be out of the league?
I actually don't know that off the top of my head.
Like what?
Oh, they're vets. Yeah, they're vets.
They're
7,
vets.
8 years in. Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So now when they're viewed at this, I'm sure the conversation is it's about the potential. And with what they're building, how many times you have to see it? It doesn't matter what everybody else does. It's what this team is building inside. We talked about it, how every unit ain't 3 Mile Island like the past Terry Foster always said, where the offense, defense, and special teams don't have a clue of what's going on. Now they go out there and play for each other. You saw it the other day in Green Bay. What happens? Worst thing ever. When you get the ball in the enemy territory, throw a pick in your own zone. And what happens? The defense goes out there and says, don't worry, boys. We got this. We'll keep them, right? That's picking each other up. And you saw that both sides of the ball. So it's irrelevant as long as you got guys there. Now you're adding this talent that could be, right? We don't know yet. We've seen one flash of brilliance.
Speaking of talent, 2 of the young up-and-coming talents in Detroit sports media on the air tonight. As always, it's Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder, 8 to 10 o'clock right here on the Woodward Sports YouTube channel. So tap in after dark with Woodward Nights, Booner and Broder from 8 to 10 p.m. Let's talk about Planet Fitness. We're live at the Planet Fitness Studios. You guys already know what it is. Always the right time to join Planet Fitness. And guys, you've heard me break it down. You know why I like Planet Fitness. All of that. Access to your home club. $1 down. $10 a month. Boom, you're in there. You want the black card? You want to be a baller, shot caller? Get the black card. $24.99 a month. Access to over 2,400 Planet Fitni around the world. There's over 50 of them in Metro Detroit alone. Guys, clean facilities, great shower facilities, all of it. You can slide right in there. Do it on your lunch break. Do it on your lunch break from work. Slide right in there, get that workout in, hit that shower, get back to work, and do your thing. And boom, your workout's done. And then go do what you got to do when you get off of work. I'm telling you guys, it's the play. Planet Fitness. Go to planetfitness.com or pull in the parking lot and join on the way home. It's Planet Fitness, Darren McCarty.
Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Burgers and chicken sandwiches are taking over at Big Boy. Try our new pretzel bacon cheeseburger. Turn up the heat with Bob's Hot Chicken Sandwich. Upgrade those regular fries with our chili cheese fries or loaded baked potato fries. Hit your sweet tooth with funnel cake fries or Reese's chocolate peanut butter thunder cake. Load up on all your favorites today at Big Boy.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports. Woodward and Main Street. The Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Let's talk about Outdoor co-official equipment provider of Woodward Sports, Michigan-grown, family-owned, bad boy mowers, tractors, steel handhelds, and even weed whippers. Liberty trailers, Generac generators, SnowX plows and salters. Outdoor Equipco has it all. Buy it, rent it, 0% financing. They'll even deliver it to your doorstep. OutdoorEquipco.com. Tell them Big D Energy we sent you.
Keeping it pushing, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal, Rhul, Darren, McCarty, BMG, and of course Parker Knott Metals. Hour number 2 of the show. Jump into that Woodward Sports YouTube chat and be like Burn. It's because Lions fans in the past have been burned by first-round players. They have no confidence unless the guy is elite out the door. And that's really kind of the other thing. Mike Bell says, how much is Reynolds getting paid? Can't be much more, and he's balling. I think Reynolds is a $4 million cap hit this year, so a little more juice. Plus, Reynolds, I'm guessing, I don't know this, I don't have insider source on it, but my guess is Reynolds may have taken a little less to go be with his guy. There's some reports like that, so that could be the case. But yeah, Reynolds has been great.
You know what we're running into too here? And yes, if it's like you need this, and we can always argue, you know, you want a defensive guy, you want offense, this, whatever. When you understand that talent level is one thing to add, but it's also what Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes are building there. It's the locker room and the culture in there of the buy-in, right? So you know what, along the way, and this is what I'm assuming they did with Jalen Carter, is that he wouldn't fit to what they're building in the locker room. Because it's been building for 3 years now, right? And it's that core of bringing guys in that buy in. So it's more important right now, Neal, than it's not about firing your first rounders up and getting them in there. It's having that all buy-in mentality at Ford Field, which I think they have. So now that they have the core, now they have that luxury, but it was first building that core. And I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, I think it was they drafted guys because of who they are as people, and they didn't draft guys because of who they are as people. And that's the bottom line.
I agree with you.
And that's the bottom line. So in saying that, this is a team that they wanted to build with the culture they wanted to build. You know what's a big culture in there? Because they told me that? Alabama. Jahmyr Gibbs, Brian Branch, to that, right? To that Alabama, to whatever they come, there's that structural thing. So it's about putting that people in. Obviously, Jack Campbell, too. Sam Laporta, Iowa guys, to the people that they are, to build on it. So, yes, the talent is one thing, but the more important thing, and we see it, is the buy-in as the team. You watch all the clips, and you see Jared Goff, you see the after the games, Dan Campbell and everybody bought in. You see how focused, like everybody in that locker room, no matter if you're a trainer, a coach, a GM, whatever, is locked in, right? To their cheers and everything like that. You can't buy that. And that is more important when you're trying to get from where Detroit Lions are trying to get from, never winning a playoff game like 30 years, to get to the playoffs. That's more important than picking that one person, two people here in the long run. And that, I guess that is the point.
This is just your daily reminder too. And look, I know that I ride with Brandon Katz a little more than most of you do because sometimes he does make good points. But this is what happens here. This is a show of accountability. Dirty Dr. D. Quote, Brad Holmes did nothing to help the Lions run defense this offseason. Brandon Katz. That is true. He did say that. Just putting that out there. Accountability for everybody. All right, the calendar's flipped. We're to October.
The run defense that, by the way, after 4 weeks, have given up 252 yards, which is the lowest rushing yardage in the NFL. That defense?
That defense.
That brought back their own guys and a lot of different things and maybe added, upgraded the linebacker core a little bit or believed in themselves. That same defense?
That same defense.
Okay.
Yeah, that is what it is. Had a question for the people. So we are into October. Lions sitting at 3-1 through September. Games this month: Carolina at home, at Tampa, at Baltimore, home against Vegas on Monday night. What are you expecting from October?
3-1.
If this team is what this team is, it's 3-1. You have to go 2-2.
Yes.
Right? The Baltimore game's the wild card in there for me, as far as everything else. But I right there. You know what? I'm going with 3-1 because you're telling me what you are. You gave me what you are. The fact of taking over the North Division and stuff like this, and even though you're not playing in your division and stuff like that, you gotta take steps away. You go 3-1 in this stretch and be 6-2. You got 2, maybe 3 game lead in this division, right? So I think task at hand, and I like what they've done, man. It's in the NFL separating into quarters. In the NHL, we separate into 5 games, but 4 games in the NFL. So, yeah, high 3-1, Mikey. You're right.
Yeah, I don't even hate the stretch of games right now. I mean, we play Panthers this week, Buccaneers next week, Baltimore the week after that, and then the Raiders on the day before Halloween on a primetime game. So, I mean, we're gonna beat the Panthers. I feel like if we're gonna go 2-2, it's gonna be the Buccaneers game that we drop.
Yeah, and that's the one that I got on. That's the one that's gonna be way tougher than anybody here thinks it's gonna be.
That's to me.
That's a scrappy
That
team.
sets up like the Carolina game last year, and the weather down there. Is it hot right now?
It was hot. It was hot when I was.
So that's what I'm saying. It's a different beast going down there now. Hey, listen. Much respect to the Tampa Bay defense, but it is Baker Mayfield, and I got to think that the boys are gonna.
He hasn't played bad this year.
No, he hasn't. But I think we saw what he could be playing against an elite defensive rushing team.
Yeah.
So I'm not sold on him. So.
As long as you take both the home games, which are both winnable, and then you split.
Yeah, those are non-negotiable.
Yeah, you just got to split one of the two. I am kind of worried about Baltimore. Obviously, the Lions have had trouble containing tight ends and the quarterback, obviously. So I'm a little bit more worried about that one. But I see where you're coming from with the Bucs because their defense has been really good so far, and Baker's actually been playing pretty well. So.
Yes, he has been, as a matter of fact. Yeah, I mean, because you got to remember, too, like Baltimore's in the exact same spot the Lions are. They're leading their division right now. They're 3-1. They're at home. And I understand. I think what they're playing overseas or something like that the week before. I guess that's what people are talking about. I haven't pulled up their schedule to look.
Just imagine if we go 4-0 in October.
Could you imagine 7-1 going into that? Because the Chargers game, I've already told you guys, it's already a get right. Do they have a future line on that?
No, they don't yet.
They don't?
I'm looking at it right now.
No
line yet.
Yeah.
4-1 in October, or 4-0, excuse me.
They'd be 7-1 going into November.
Whew.
Like that's one of those things, guys. Like we're talking about it. Like it's real. You know what I'm saying?
The Lions right now.
There's a chance that there's a better than decent chance it could happen. Be 7-1 going into October, dude.
November.
I
November,
still think that we're probably going to lose against Baltimore, but I'm going to keep my hopes up for 4-0.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Some people saying, why are you guys scared? Why are you guys so scared of Baltimore? Tampa might be the tougher game. And I'm with it, man. I'm with it.
It's necessarily being scared. It's just like if that's a game we're going to drop, it's going to be those two.
Yeah.
I mean, remember, Dan Campbell sometimes just loses a game just based on coaching. He's done it last year. He did it last year on the Thanksgiving game against the Bills. He probably is going to do it again this year.
Probably. Dave Schultz. So who is this Neal Rhul kid I read about in the show description today? I don't care about that stuff, Dave, because the name's been wrong on the check before and it's still cashed.
Yeah.
That's all that matters to me, Dave. I don't have enough time to worry about the way my name is spelled on a graphic or something like that. I know a lot of people flip out about that stuff. I don't. Does my check clear? Oh, it did? We're good here.
I think, what Steve Lehman brings up, remember Dan Campbell's record, September, October, 2-16 going in. So to be 6-2 or 7-1 through September, October, I think that a lot of those questions would be answered. And I think, Parker, to your point about that's one of the, I don't know if it's the elephant in the room, but one of the things that I think as a Lions fan that we sort of put in the back burner and not talk about as much is Dan Campbell's coaching decisions, whether it's going for it on fourth down, challenges, different things like that. He can always be better, and I think that each time he's out there, he does, and he showed some maturity even in the last couple games.
Andrew Schmidt, the problem is no one's talking about Carolina just like last year. Need to focus on the task at hand. No, Andrew, that is a non-negotiable. This game is as close to a walkover as you're going to see. Just trust me on it.
What about Carolina scares anybody? I mean, that's the blatant question.
Adam Thielen worried me 7 years ago. It's true, he did.
Yeah.
Lorena Rios, how many people flip out, Neal? Lorena, in this business, doing this business, tons of people. You would be stunned. You would be stunned how insecure a lot of people are in this business. Actually, probably wouldn't be.
85%.
85%.
Maybe 90.
Probably.
100%.
Yeah. Probably 100%. 99.9. I would be the 0.1 that doesn't care.
Because some of us that don't have our moments.
Yeah.
But you know who doesn't have a moment?
Swiss Insurance.
Football's on the brain. You betcha. Swiss Insurance, the one and only. Fall ushers in college, professional football. This year's already been awesome. Fall is also the perfect time to shop your home and auto insurance. Shop it like a pro with Swiss Insurance. They cover Woodward Sports Network, and they should be covering you too. Ask for Mark. He's our buddy at Swiss Insurance today. SwissINS.com or call Mark 248-800-4177.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune in to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
Woodward Sports has the best Detroit sports wearable in the game. That is fact, not opinion. See it for yourself. Go to woodwardsports.com/shop. You know the Stoke Not Scared shirt. That's right there on your screen right now. The Jack Campbell Meat Missile shirt. All the sports represented. Hockey, baseball, basketball, football. There's a Woodward golf line as well. Look the flyest in all the Detroit sports land. woodwardsports.com/shop. Keeping it popping here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal Rhul, Darren McCarty, and of course, Big Mike Gentry, Parker Not Meadows as well. A little bit of breaking NFL news. The Denver Broncos have released Randy Gregory. So he will leave behind a dead cap hit of $16.1 million in 2023 and $6.3 million in 2024. They do free up some cap space, though, next year. They will have to spend $6.3 million on him, but they don't have to pay him the $15 million they were supposed to pay him. Couldn't give him away, everybody, so stop. No, he's not a fit. Not a fit. So, I know, maybe on the scrap heap deal or whatever, we'll see. But just not doing anything out there. Part of the reason they gave up 70. So think about that. Think about that. But I did want to get to some college football as well. And we saw, I know a lot of people saw the tweet going around Twitter yesterday about Urban Meyer, like maybe being in town, maybe looking to go to East Lansing for an interview, those types of things. And it plays into what the topic of what I wanted to get into about this. Some writers have said, hey, I personally talked to Urban Meyer. He's not interested. He's not taking a look. And I believe that, because who could you trust at their word more than Urban Meyer? Nobody. He's as rock solid as it gets, everybody. But my question is to the Michigan State fans. Do they have the juice to go get somebody like that? I'm not saying Urban Meyer hire is eminent or anything like that, but it did help the topic.
Question of scruples.
Do they have the juice to go do that? And you mean by
the juice do they care about, they don't care about photos with hands over girls or whatever, all that other stuff? Do they have the juice to say, we don't care, we need this ship righted, especially on the field? Obviously, I would expect of anything, right, the past discretions or whatever, morality clause or whatever would be point of contact. But my question is, do you want your program, do you want a life jacket for your program or not? That's right. Do you want to keep watching your program sink and sink and sink? Now you could do it the other way. But man, if you don't, is that program drowning right now? Yes. To get an injection of Urban Meyer, not only what he brings as far as coaching wise, but obviously with pedigree and probably recruitment. That's the big question. And I'd love to have Spenny here to ask the Sparty. I think that when you ask that question, I think Sparty's got more juice than Michigan ever would to do something like this.
You think so?
You don't? I don't know if they have the. I don't know if they have the
I don't think
juice.
Michigan State does. I know Michigan. I don't think Michigan would do that at all.
No, I don't. I'm pretty sure Michigan wouldn't. I'm not sure about Michigan State. I said they might. It's still out there.
So I guess you got
to ask the Sparties because it's their. I mean,
and that's what I'm going to do. I want to take it to the streets, Parker. Michigan State fans. Do the Spartans have the juice to go get somebody like Urban Meyer? No, Brandon Katz, don't get all granular on it. I'm talking about like Urban Meyer. A needle mover. Like somebody that if they hired, you would say, holy shit, they hired him? That kind of stuff I'm talking about. Because I don't know that they do. And like the whole stuff, like where show me the Urban Meyer thing before, right? When he was at Jacksonville with the woman in the bar. Show me where he broke a law. This is why if I'm a Spartan fan, I clamor for this. Because we're in desperate times right now if we're Michigan State. We're in desperate times because guess who's coming to dinner starting next year? Oregon, Washington, USC, UCLA. You see what I'm saying? Like it's getting late early. You either keep up with the arms race or you don't. And if you don't go get an elite guy, guess what you're going to become?
A bum.
Indiana, Illinois, Rutgers. Because, guys, I got news for you. Guess what you are right now? Did you watch that Iowa game? Have you watched them play this year? And I know that hurts to hear. I know it hurts to hear. But that's the reality of the situation. So do you have the juice to go get a difference maker? I know they can pay it. I know they can pay the money. And look, if I'm a Spartan fan, that's my expectation. This is going to sound bad, everybody, okay? But let's look at it in reality, all right? The stuff that happened with Mel Tucker was a get-out-of-jail-free card. Because obviously, he wasn't getting it done coaching the team.
So it's not like the money's not there.
The money's there.
That's what I'm saying.
And guess what? You get that money back, or the ability to spend it,
right,
or not spend it. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the end...
No, but that's what I'm saying is that it's not like you have to go out and get another $100 million, right? For Urban Meyer, the money you got from Mel Tucker, you got rebated back. So just the fact that do you not have to explore the conversations? I see in the chat thread a lot of people saying that they're not an elite program, so why would an elite coach come to it to bring it back? And
there's 10 million reasons why they would.
Boom.
Like, people are way
the money's
underestimating
there because
that.
they didn't have Mel Tucker didn't go away and they had to give him his $100 million, right? Neal, there's going to be a buyout
they get
settlement,
to keep it.
right? So they have it. So they have that money that they've already allocated because they didn't figure this would happen with Mel Tucker. They'd be paying him, and you can go out and get a guy like Urban Meyer for even you have to pay him a little bit more.
Then you got to pay him a little bit more.
You're sinking faster than the Titanic.
D-Mac, it's over.
You're sinking faster than the Titanic.
Yes.
Every second you wait, you're going further, further into those depths of, are you not? Are you? So you're telling me you're not at Rutgers, Maryland, Iowa yet?
That's what they are right now.
That's
they're
what I'm saying.
losing
They're
to those
there
teams.
already.
Yeah, not only are they there, they're losing to
And
those
this
teams,
is
and
the
they're
only
getting
way
killed by
they
them.
get out.
This is it, D-Mac, or guess what you are? You're them. This is the biggest moment. This is the biggest moment in Michigan State football history with where this sport is going right now, because the divide has never been greater. You could fool your way in before. You know what I'm saying, D-Mac?
Yeah.
You could half step and get lucky every now and then. In this environment, you cannot. There are haves and there are have-nots. So which one are you? Just for reference too, so they were paying Tucker, $9.5 million? We'll call it, round it up to 10. If you could pay 9.5, you can pay 10. And for those that are talking about it like the Deion thing, Deion's getting $5.5 million at Colorado. I want everyone, and I'm not saying Deion, and I'm not saying Urban, but I want everyone to wrap their heads around the fact that if you're in an industry and someone comes to you and says, hey, I'll pay you double the salary to come here. D-Mac, you accepting that call?
I think so.
I promise you guys.
Wait. Let's go to the bag man. Hey, bag man.
I promise you I'm taking that call. I'll look right at that. I am taking that call, everybody. I promise you I am. So why wouldn't anybody else? But this is the cost. This is the cover charge to get in the club, to skip the line and get in the club. D-Mac, this is a huge moment for Michigan State football right now. Huge.
Well, because, Neal, we're not just talking about... We're talking about this could affect you for
forever,
decades, right? Like if you don't put up, is there other options other than Urban Meyer? Probably not to get you out of this as quick, right? Is that what you're saying? You go with Urban Meyer and you pay because of the pedigree, because he can get you out of this quicker with either the portal, working the NIL, recruiting, stuff like this. This is your way out.
And here's another.
But he's not your own. You can't be saying that Urban Meyer's your only way.
No. Of that ilk. That's what I'm saying.
Of that ilk.
And by the way, too, and I just want to know, because we have it out there. Does Michigan State have the juice for a hire like Urban Meyer? And 70% of the people say no. Then you're dead.
Yeah.
Because who are you going to get then? You're dead. You're gonna go get the Marshall coach, and you're gonna be Illinois. That's what you're gonna do. Because it ain't getting easier. It's only going to get harder, everybody. And
the easiest thing, you've already proved that you will spend the dollar, right? It's not that you got to step out and you're only paying, $3 million for your head coach, and now you got to go get a $10 million guy. No, you've already threw the bag at the last guy. So it's not about throwing the bag. You're well versed in throwing the bag.
Yeah. Dan Wood, Neal, you taking the call from the Tigers? If they call me, I'm taking the call. How would you not?
Bring them home.
Bring them home, yeah. Absolutely. We'd have some fun on that broadcast.
Can you give me a Bat Boy gig?
Yeah. That would be so
McCarty
funny.
25. You got to wear the helmet with no ear protector.
I'd like to sit out in the corner by the outfield, be on the bucket,
get the ball,
give the kids, and sit there.
That would be good.
D-Mac, can I put that as part of my presentation?
Absolutely.
You hire me, Darren McCarty. We'll be the ball boy for no fewer than 10 games.
Absolutely.
Is that fair?
That's good stuff.
I'll even do the KCs and the games that nobody wants.
Yes.
I'm down. I always wanted to do that.
Yes.
I'd love to see that. That'd be funny. That'd be some funny stuff.
Maybe I should ask.
Hit him up.
Bring him home. I like that. That's always funny, man. That is always funny. Neal would have to shout El Mago is back every time he gets a hit. Well, people, you gotta understand, right? Like, that's a different job.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's a different job. You get a different presentation package.
Yeah, exactly. Give us a little example. Let's just say that, if you were that guy with a guy like El Mago at bat, and
we just talk about how last year he's coming off of the lowest strikeout percentage in the history of his career. There are signs. There's signs that he's coming out of it.
Nice. Buttery. Is that fact?
I mean, you can't argue math.
No, you can't argue math. I like it. There you go. It's already there. His built-in. Is that the only one you got, though?
No, I got more. You got to pay. You got to pay to get them. I'm not giving them for free.
You got to pay for the rest.
You got to pay for the rest of them. You don't have to pay for the Lions pregame show, though. The very best pregame show in the business. That's right. Look at Jeff Iafrate on that graphic. He's the franchise. You can't be a Woodward Sports fan and not watch Jeff Iafrate on the Woodward Sports Lions pregame show. Sundays, 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. with weekly special guests as well. We're doing NFL football. We're doing Lions football better than anybody in this town. That is fact, not opinion. It's a lot like how Big Boy does burgers and sandwiches. They're doing it better than anybody else in this town as well, and they're taking over. It's burger time, y'all. You see it up there, the pretzel bacon cheeseburger. Yes, absolutely. You're more of a chicken sandwich kind of person, the regular Dolly chicken sandwich, or how about the Bob's hot chicken sandwich? Next time we're at Big Boy, I'm firing one of those in. I'm doing it. I'm going all the way in. Don't be eating just regular fries. Upgrade those fries. Chili cheese, loaded baked potato fries, whatever. And for dessert, the Reese's Chocolate Peanut Butter Thunder Cake, or satisfy the sweet tooth with the funnel cake fries. Get to your local Big Boy today.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Like to win a $100,000 Vegas getaway, take your closest friends and live it up in the city that never sleeps. It's the Cintron Energy. Drink it and live it. Purchase a 24-pack today and enter to win that $100,000 Vegas getaway at drinkcintron.com/Vegas and buy your Cintron at your local Meijer. Cintron, the healthier energy drink with great taste and the choice of people who desire to look good, feel great, and be the best version of themselves. Go register for that $100,000 Vegas getaway at drinkcintron.com/Vegas.
Keeping it pushing, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. About 10 minutes away, Chad Brown will join us. Former NFL linebacker, all-pro, multi-time Pro Bowler, the Steelers, the Seahawks, all of it. Covers college football for Compass Sports. He'll be doing the Texas A&M Alabama game, but we'll go across the board with him. Owns a snake business too. D-Mac's only here to ask him about snakes.
That's it.
Then he's going to leave.
And it's a prerequisite for any interviews. You got to have something really interesting.
There's got to be some kind of backstory to it. But we're wrapping up this discussion right now on Michigan State. And it's a critical time. Brandon Katz. Narduzzi is nothing special, but would be a good fit at Michigan State. If he's nothing special, then how's he a good fit? Like, that's the kind of shit I'm talking about. Like, people talk about, go get Toledo's coach, go get Pat Narduzzi. No, you do that, you're dead. And you know it, and I know it. You are dead in this game. USC's coming in this conference. Oregon's coming in this conference. Washington.
I see things that'll never happen. Right? Somebody says, "Oh, just go out and get Dion for $10 million and stuff." No. But brings up a point that I asked you: is there a Dion type guy in football out there, like with an opportunity that could turn a program? I don't think there's anybody with as much juice as him. But is there the next young guy, the guy who is the guy out of Duke, and who's this sort of the up and coming guy? I think that it's something that has to be built, but I don't think there's a guy out there, right, with juice like Dion, other than an elite level. Like if we're talking like an Urban Meyer or something like that. You're just saying to get out of where you're so far down in the mud that you need somebody strong enough to pull you out of the mud before you get out of the drowning. And
the only thing that can save you is your checkbook. It's been proven. Look around the landscape of college sports. The players, the coaches, all of it. All of it. Lorena Rios, Michigan State, nothing special. We're gonna see very, very soon. We're gonna see, because they are down in the depths right now. Dan Wood, stop using logic, Neal. Corey Berry, Matt Campbell. Is there any shine on Matt Campbell anymore? That came and went, didn't it? Because Iowa State just seems to be regular, don't they?
Well, I mean, but don't most teams, in college football sort of fall under the regular category of what you're going to get? Like, that's what I'm saying. There isn't this new young hot and up and coming coach or to whatever. We're talking about Urban Meyer. I mean, Urban Meyer was relevant 20 years ago, right? 25 years ago, whatever. That's what I'm talking about. So you can't tell me there isn't, if they're going to look into some young guy, but you're talking about how do you get out of where you're at quickest?
Dave Schultz. See, this is the kind of ideology that I'm talking about. Dave Schultz says, I hate to say it because contrary to what Flannel says, I'm an Eastern Michigan fan, but Michigan State should hire Chris Creighton to get the program straightened out. How? Based on what? You're going to play St. Peter's every week like Eastern does to get to your 6 wins, to get to a bowl, to say, hey, we've changed things? Like, how is he going How is he going to come in, and how is he going to compete with USC and Oregon and Michigan and Ohio State? Like, guys, think for a second. Because do you go around the room? You think Michigan State's going to get this right? No. BMG?
Probably not. No.
DMAC?
Nope.
Wow.
You?
They're willing to pay. So they got a shot. I won't just dismiss because they're willing to pay.
But you're assuming they're willing to pay, right? Yeah. We're assuming that they've written that check before.
Correct.
Right?
Like, why would you not, right? Like, you just got out.
Because, you
got a miraculous get out of, and this is going to sound bad, you got a miraculous get out of jail free card.
So let me use this analogy. But so is that like, you're playing a slot machine and you dwindle your money down and then you got the return?
Yes, that's exactly it.
Are they cashing out, though? That's the question you have to ask. With the new hire, if they don't go to get out of the mud, they go to mediocrity or somebody it'll take a lot longer to turn this program around and not spend the money. Do they put the money back in their bank? That's the question you ask. You assume that they're going to spend. We've seen that they would spend, but will they in this case? I'm not confident.
Shad 216, Eastern Michigan slander will not be tolerated. Neal, Coach Creighton is a great and wholesome person. Well, then that tells me, too, that's even further evidence that it won't work. You can't be great and wholesome in a snake oil business, man. You can't be.
Everybody's got some grease on them.
Because I don't think I'm getting through to the people here, like how urgent this is right now. I feel like I'm getting through to you, D-Mac. I think you understand.
This is what DEFCON 5 or whatever for this program. you don't make the correct hire because you're not, and you can't compete, then you're just going to get swallowed in the doldrums and you brought up the Pac because of the joint with the Pac-12, and your schedule's not going to get easier. Your competition for players, even in the portal, everything else is going to dwindle, right? You're just going to get stuck in mediocrity.
Honolulu Blue Sparty, I'm ready to just be embarrassed for our football on the field instead of off the field BS. So Honolulu Blue Sparty, let me ask you a question for real. A lot of people saw the documentary on the Florida Gators, right? Who happen to be coached by Urban Meyer. So Honolulu Blue Sparty, are things going well for the Florida Gators right now? They are not. They are mid in the SEC. They're just a regular ass team. So I ask you this, Honolulu Blue Sparty, do you think a Florida Gators fan would take that roster back right now? With all the criminals and all, but do you think that they enjoyed winning national titles more? For real. Honest question. BMG.
Yes.
Which would you choose?
I'm taking it. I'm taking the ships. I don't give a shit. You show up on Saturday, you win me games. That's all I care about. I don't have to deal with any of that inner stuff. I'm a fan.
Yeah. Why aren't Spartan fans on that level? For real. Like, I keep seeing this. Like, I don't want to be embarrassed off the field. If you're going to be good, you're going to be, because talented people don't live by regular rules. Tell me I'm wrong, D-Mac. You play professional sports.
That is a great quote, bud. Because they don't.
Because they're in demand.
For different folks.
They're in demand.
What can you do for me? What have you done for me lately? What can you do for me? And, you know.
There's a demand for their services because they're elite at what they do.
Isn't it more like, the more we think about this, the fact that like Urban Meyer's like the number one candidate to whatever, doesn't that tell you about the state of coaching? Or the state of you know, whatever, like, that can't be good, right? You'd want to have 3 or 4 or 5 younger coaches or guys that have come up. So
yeah, absolutely. When we come back, scheduled to be joined by former NFL great Chad Brown. Tell them about Guardian Alarm.
Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts. Professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. But I need you to call Guardian Alarm today. The number 1-800.
Stay out.
24/7 professional monitoring. Call us anytime, day or night. Know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as it's needed. But I need you to call the number 1-800.
Stay out.
Technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work, and people have been proven to care. Whether it's business, whether it's personal, it doesn't matter. Guardian will be there for you, but I need you to call the number 1-800.
Stay out. Stay out of mid-coaching searches, Michigan State.
Stay out of mid-coaching searches. Whatever you need, Guardian Alarm will be there. Your local security expert. Tell them Big D Energy we sent you. Yeah, absolutely. What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. This is exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC. The same great service that customers have come to know and trust on Woodward Ave, just south of 9 Mile. Check out Les Stanford in Dearborn today. Find the brand, what you want, at lesstanford.com.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like to landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. So register today at OutdoorEquipCo.com, and even you could have DMAC on your landscaping crew.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune in to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
Neal Rhul here for 5 Iron Golf. You can play party in downtown Detroit at the newest sports bar. 13 TrackMan simulator, certified instructors, and most importantly, a full bar and a restaurant too. Mention promo code Woodward at checkout, 50% off your first visit. Go to 5irongolf.com today to tee up the good times. Whether you're a serious golfer like D-Mac or myself, or you're a clown in life like Sam Flannel, 5 Iron Golf is the spot for you. That's 5irongolf.com to tee up the good times. Back at it, everybody. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal Rhul, Darren McCarty, Parker, not Meadows here in the building, and Big Mike Gentry as well. But, yeah, it's interesting. Will Krull, as a Michigan fan, I'm hoping they do sign someone like EMU's coach. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is your chance to strike, D-Mac.
Well, it's one of these things of how do you get out to where you're at? And I think, do people first understand how desperate the program is? You know, how bleak where you're at as a football program from a team that, you know, every year that the rivalry game comes up against Michigan, it doesn't matter. You know that they're going to go out there and they're going to play a good, you know, a great game, be competitive, and, you know, possibly upset it to now that it's just, you know, there's no chance. Right? Like, and you're just dwindling. So it's so important, like we talked about. Look at, can you not use MSU in the same terminology, Neal, as when we were looking for the Lions hire? You need something different. But and even though Dan Campbell didn't have the juice of Urban Meyer, you needed a guy to come in there to have an effect, right, on this culture. They need a culture shock in there. So if it is the Eastern Michigan coach or whoever it is, because they're good dudes, right? Maybe that's the way they're going to go. They're going to save money that way, but that's where I question, are they going to spend the money? They've proven before that they will sign the check, but my question to you is, you think that in this case that they are going to go out and spend the money no matter what it takes?
I think you have to at this point if you're them, right?
Yeah, okay, you have to, right?
You have
would think you have to, but that still doesn't give me the confidence that they will.
No, there's no choice. You have to spend that money if you're them. You have to. Because what's going to be the perception if you don't? We tapped out. We're more concerned about image or a personality or somebody who's, quote, by the book. Pete says they're not going from Tucker to the guy who lied about having a guy who abused his wife on his staff. Pete, then you're out.
It's the waters that you swim in, right? Which waters are you willing to swim in? And I guess that question is do you think, like, we, the three of us, and you're sort of wishy-washy on it, but I don't, because here's what the point, Neal, that it goes back to. Did we expect them to spend the money on Mel Tucker that they did? Right? No. At the time, it was sort of a shock until everybody came in and Ishbia came in and whatever else, and they threw that money at him. Are they going to do it again? Or are they going to be worried, you know, of a different situation? They can't be worried. At the end of the day, if you want to turn this program around for the waters that you're going to swim in, you have to. You're saying it. You have to spend this money.
Like, there's no going backwards.
So are we caught up on Urban Meyer? Right? Is there another guy out there, maybe retired or away from the game, that would think about this? No.
I don't know. But again, that's this.
What's the
I don't think
juice
people
to
are
come?
grasping. I don't think people are grasping the fact that $10 million a year. ... One of the highest paid coaches in all of college football, more than Jim Harbaugh makes.
Probably more than pros too.
Yes.
Right? More than pro coaches.
Like, you have
but
you got to buy your way out of this.
The imperativeness is that's what you need to get this program out of where it's at. Correct?
No, yeah. You have to, D-Mac. You have to.
And the only way out is the only way out this time isn't through. It's through your checkbook.
See, like this here from Stephen Baffy. Some schools actually care about things like education and developing productive members of society. Can we get past this, Steve? At this point, for those stakes,
non-football schools, right?
With this money, no, Stephen, they don't. BMG, you just said it. Would you take a criminal on your team to win?
Yeah, I mean, it really just depends the situation, but I'm all about the win.
You'd rather they just be a criminal behind the scenes and you not know about it.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I'll rephrase.
Yes.
Would you take a criminal, though you don't know they're a criminal at the time, but later it'll come out that they were a criminal while they were there at your school? Would you take said criminal on your team to win a natty?
Yes, I would. I would take said criminal, and I would take the W and turn away.
75% of people would say yes.
Yes.
Probably higher. Probably higher.
Take him.
Is there any young guy that comes to mind? Or somebody that deserves a shot, or somebody that can implement something like this?
But
or
if they're young, like,
I don't think there's anyone that is on Urban Meyer's level as far as like what they could do to turn around a program like Urban Meyer.
Right, and that's exactly, D-Mac, where it is for me. Caston Reed, word from T-Town is Lane Kiffin is next in line behind Saban. Thoughts, Neal? Is he mid-Lane Kiffin?
But Lane Kiffin slides right into that Nick Saban coach Alabama flawlessly.
Right.
Right, like, yeah, doesn't that seem like heir apparent? That doesn't shock me at all. And
No.
Lane Kiffin has grease, and he's like, there's another type of guy that could bring juice to your program, right? But you'd never get him here.
Right. So, I mean, it's one of those things where if you have him, if like that's the play, then yeah, I think Lane Kiffin would provide some juice, just with the talent that he's going to get. Now he's a little bit more of a wild card, in that what has he like truly done other than fall up everywhere? You know what I'm saying? But he did go to Florida.
But what you need, he's got the juice with the name to do the things and get your program more to the front, right? You bring a guy like that in, or Lane Kiffin, then you're automatically, everybody's looking at your program, right? No matter how bad you are or whatever, but he can recruit. And you falling up sometimes, Neal. Doesn't that happen more often in college football?
Yes, it does. Cody Engel says MSU needs to make a big AD hire. He says he's not a fan of Holler, and again, this goes into it. When I ask the question, do they have the juice to do something like that? That's all part of it.
Wouldn't you, at the AD Holler, wouldn't the question be, what is your number one priority? Right? And you hope he'd say win, but it might not be. Right? Because you know what the one thing, Neal, it's your sort of apprehension, because I think deep down you have this gut feeling, is it that they won't do what needs to be done?
But it's not that they. I got a feeling they won't do what needs to be done. I think you need somebody that will look in that camera, and in their mind they'll say, "I don't care that we just hired this guy. I know a lot of you do, but I'm here to win football games."
But right, that's got to be number one priority, and I don't know if that's what the number one priority right now with MSU is.
Right, absolutely. So, I don't know that they got the juice to do it. And we got him on the phone. You said Mike Gentry?
Yes.
All right. So right now, as promised, took a second, but we got it done. We're joined by former All-Pro, multi-Pro Bowl linebacker in the National Football League. Chad Brown is our guest. Chad works for Compass Media, covers college football. He'll be on the radio affiliation, the radio broadcast for the game coming up this weekend with Alabama and Texas A&M. Chad, appreciate you taking the time, man. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you doing?
Oh, we're good, man. We're good. I appreciate getting the chance to talk to you here on Big D Energy on Woodward Sports. And I guess, Chad, there's a ton of stuff that we can get to here. You're a Colorado guy. You went to Colorado. We just been talking about coaches in college football and all that kind of stuff. You were around it, so you tell us. Bring us inside this whole Deion Sanders stuff at Colorado. You were at the ground zero. How big of a circus is this?
It's amazing what he has brought as far as attention, the as far as dollars to the voter community and to CU overall. The television numbers, it's not just a college football thing. He's bringing in numbers that have been unheard of from college football viewing. The celebrities on the sideline. The folks are literally making a pilgrimage to Boulder to spend some time with Coach Prime, to go to the game. For a proud Colorado alumni like myself who was a part of the glory days, 20 plus years ago, to see the program where it is, to see them part of the national football conversation again, has just been amazing.
Chad, thanks for joining us. Darren McCarty here, and we played at the sort of same time and sort of had the same sort of mentality of when we played, even though you played football and I played hockey. But being part of the teams that you are, especially in Pittsburgh, when you look at our Detroit Lions team and what Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes have assembled here, the biggest thing that I preach is the work ethic, the culture, the message coming out. Is there anything that you as a former, Blitzburg Steeler guy, see any similarities to maybe what you guys had going, or what are your thoughts of our Detroit Lions?
Well, number one, I think Detroit is very lucky to have Dan Campbell. I know he made headlines and was a bit of a national joke after his initial press conference talking about biting kneecaps off and all that stuff. And he had certainly a few quote-worthy clips during the Hard Knocks series on HBO. But in the end, football is it's a physical game. And so the culture needs to reflect that. And so Dan Campbell brings that physical kind of mentality as a coach, that hard work mentality. And I hadn't quite made the correlation to some of my days in Pittsburgh, but I think that's a fair comparison. The way that Bill Cowher thought about football, the approach that Bill Cowher had to football, certainly he didn't use some of the language that Dan Campbell used, but the mindset was very similar. And in the end, as a Pittsburgh Steelers team, we knew if we were the more physical team and we were willing to outwork our opponent, chances are we were going to win, even if we weren't cleaner with our execution, even if our X's and O's weren't better than the other team's X's and O's. Simply by having that culture and mindset of physicality and toughness and hard work, that starts to pay dividends. So I've been impressed with what Dan Campbell's been able to do, and that culture is going to be a part of that building. When I became a New England Patriot, you walk in the building, you know immediately you're on the Patriot, you understand what the Patriot way is. And I'm sure when you walk into that building for the Detroit Lions, that Dan Campbell mindset has now become a bit of the Lions way, how they do things, how they approach things, and how they play on Sunday.
Chad Brown, our guest here, former NFL great, 3-time Pro Bowler, 2-time NFL All-Pro as well. You know what it is already, the Steelers, the Seahawks. He was the guy, played his college football at Colorado as well. Since we're talking a bit of NFL, Chad, I do have to ask you this. You're out there in Colorado. The whole Russell Wilson, Sean Payton, Denver stuff that's going on right now. In your opinion, Chad, I mean, because as you look across the board, I guess around the country, in terms of the NFL view of the Broncos right now, it's almost kind of like an auto accident on the side of the highway. With the Broncos being 1-3, they gave up 70 points in a game, etc. I guess I have to ask you this, Chad: is the Russell Wilson, Sean Payton thing going to work? Because as of right now, you're not getting a good feeling from it.
Okay, well, obviously Russell Wilson came in last year with a lot of fanfare and a lot of publicity, and had the worst season of his career. This year, the Broncos are 1-3, and now I think Russell Wilson is getting unfairly attacked to what he put on tape last year, because the Russell Wilson of this year is not the reason why the Broncos are losing. Giving up a 70-burger to the Miami Dolphins, that's why they lost that game. So Russell Wilson has actually been statistically one of the better quarterbacks in the league. So I had my doubts whether Sean Payton would be able to, quote-unquote, fix Russell Wilson. But in the end, I don't think Russell Wilson is ever going to be what he was in his prime in Seattle. Russell Wilson is going to be a quarterback probably at the end of most seasons if he's able to continue playing the way he's playing to start this season, somewhere in that 10th ranked quarterback to 12th, 13th ranked quarterback in the league. Not eye-popping numbers, but numbers good enough to help you win football games if you can run the ball and if you can play defense. The Broncos really haven't been able to run the ball very well, and third, that defense has been awful. So I think Russell Wilson and Sean Payton will be able to, in some ways, come close to resurrecting what Russell Wilson from what we saw last year. But the glory days of Seattle, those are long gone for Russell Wilson.
All right, Chad, question for you. You're going to be part of the Compass Media broadcast, Texas A&M, Alabama. Are we shoveling dirt on the Alabama dynasty a little too soon? And look, I'll raise my hand in the air and say, just based on what Saban's talked about in the media, name, image, and likeness and all that kind of stuff, that kind of opened my eye. But as a whole, as a college football society, I guess, is the Alabama haters out there, are they making too big of a deal about this right now?
I think they are. Nick Saban and Bill Belichick coached together in Cleveland, and I was a part of that team in New England with Bill Belichick. And a mark typically of a Bill Belichick or Nick Saban coach team is they find ways to get better as the season goes along. Now, they got off to a rocky start, did not have the quarterback position figured out. It seems like they do now with Milroe. I think it's far too early to look at this Alabama program and Nick Saban as if somehow they are done. Do they have a Heisman Trophy winner under center? They don't. Is this going to be the year when they finish with the national championship? Probably not. But Nick Saban is always going to be an amazing coach. Coaching has not passed him by. Recruiting has not passed him by. Georgia certainly is at the tip of the spear as far as those things. But I have a hard time looking at this Alabama program and thinking somehow that they're not a well-built, well-thought-through organization and football team, and that somehow they're not going to end the season on a high note.
Awesome, Chad. One more question before we let you go, because this popped me when I was looking through your bio.
You couldn't wait for this.
I couldn't wait for this. This is the reason I showed up to work today. Talk to me and tell the Energy family here on Woodward Sports Network about Pro Exotics. You sell non-venomous snakes. Please give me a backstory of how you got into this. And it's like I pictured a whole bunch of garter snakes running around and things. Tell us about Pro Exotics.
Well, I grew up in Southern California, on the hillside in Southern California. So in my backyard, there were lizards, there were frogs, there were snakes. So I've always been a person who was fascinated by animals and had a great enjoyment for them. In high school, I bred fish in my fish tank, African cichlids and things like that. I bred parakeets as a kid in my parents' living room. So I've always been an animal person. And when I got to the University of Colorado, someone in the dorms had a snake for sale. I bought that snake, and one snake turned into two, and two turned into 12. And I met a guy at a local pet store in Boulder, Colorado, who ended up being a lifelong friend of mine, Cameron to peddling of Bushmaster reptiles, and he was selling and breeding non-venomous snakes in his extra bedroom and in his garage in Boulder. And I thought, this is very cool. It's an animal thing. It's a way for me to make money. This sounds great. So I started pairing up the animals that I had and breeding them and selling all the babies every spring to students on campus and to the local pet stores in Boulder. Well, I got in the NFL, got some money in my pocket, and I built a business called Pro Exotics Reptiles. And we were one of the largest producers of captive-bred reptiles on the planet. Sold several thousand baby reptiles every single year, sold them all over the globe. We were the pioneer of breeding certain species, making them popular within the pet trade. We were the first on the planet to breed some species as well. So it was a very cool time in my life. I no longer am a commercial reptile breeder. I still have a small collection of animals that I do for personal enjoyment, but I've got my company, Ship Your Reptiles, which enables reptile hobbyists and breeders to ship their animals to their final customers around the country.
Absolutely love it, bro. I learn something new every day, and I love the passion of things that you grew up around you. So thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Chad, we certainly do appreciate your time. As the football season rolls on, we'll check back with you, my friend, and get you back on and kind of get your take as things start to shake out. Is that cool?
I would totally love that. Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Former NFL All-Pro Chad Brown, D-Max guy. He couldn't wait to talk about snakes. Just like you can't wait to talk about Dispo, D-Max.
Experience Dispo Romeo, a team that curates an exclusive atmosphere mixed with fresh inventory from Michigan's largest variety of products. The first ever cannabis mall of its kind is conveniently located off of Van Dyke and 32 Mile Road up in Neal, Rhul country of Romeo. Dispo Romeo is now open late night until midnight, except Sunday. Can it get any better than that? Dispo Dispensary, DispoShops.com, your local cannabis plug.
That's right, and for over 60 years, Fairway Packing Company has provided Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry-aged beef as well. Experience a Fairway difference for yourself today. Visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods for grab-and-go steaks. I did. Ribeyes were incredible, the best I've ever had in my life. Or you can order online at fairwaypacking.com.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Hey, this is Mr. Kearney, Chief Academic Officer at Academy of Warren. I want to welcome you to the brand new field house. The state-of-the-art facility has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, soccer field. It can be used for 7-on-7 football. Our K-8 academic features AM, PM, latchkey, small classroom sizes, Learning Street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Holton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, K-8 athletics, and more. Enroll today at academywarren.net.
Join Woodward Sports and Long Drink live next Sunday, October 8th for the official Lions VIP tailgate party, Easter Market, Shed 5. Going to be a bash, 9:30 a.m. Be there, be square. The official Lions tailgate is back and better than ever. How would you like to pregame at Woodward Sports and be treated like a VIP? Food, beverages, entertainment, all included. Get your tickets online today, bullseyeeventgroup.com, or win some from Woodward Sports today. To subscribe to our YouTube, follow us on Instagram, and direct message Lions VIP.
All right. Welcome back, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. As predicted, we get an all-pro NFL linebacker to come on, talk about football, spin you around, all college, pro, all of it. What thanks do we get? Lots of talk about snakes and Mel Tucker. We're not going there. We're not. No, big thank you to Chad, though, for popping on the show as well. That'll do it. D-Max got business downtown. For Big Mike Gentry and Parker Not Meadows, my name is Neal Rhul. Thanks for tapping in. Well, see you later.